Justice League. They're the only ones who can help us. Your boyfriend has a lot of nerve.
He's not my boyfriend. And yes, he does.
Hi, I'm Dave Baker, and I'm here with Bruce Timm.
How you doing?
Can you tell us a little bit about how this project came together?
Yeah, it started as a pitch for a Justice League animated series for TV. I was told that we were thinking about doing another Justice League series that wasn't a direct continuation of the old Justice League series, something that was fresh and new, but they didn't really know what that meant. So they said, think about it. If you have some ideas, let us know. And I started thinking about it. I thought, well, yeah, what haven't we done? I don't want to just do something that's just cosmetic, put them all in different costumes or whatever. And I started thinking about the Flash and Green Lantern, about how when they were brought back in the Silver Age of comics, they basically took the Golden Age versions of those characters, kept the name, kept the gimmick, threw everything else out. And I thought, well, wouldn't it be interesting to do the same kind of thing with Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman? And I started thinking about Superman. I thought, well, okay, if he's still a Kryptonian, but he's the son of a different Kryptonian other than Jor-El, he's the son of Zod, bang. Now we're in completely different territory. So to me, at that point, it got really exciting and interesting.
So basically, you were the animation equivalent of Julie Schwartz.
Yeah, basically, that's exactly right. Yeah, that was Julie Schwartz was my exact inspiration. Yeah.
What about this darker take on the characters kind of spoke to you?
Well, they were completely different characters. That was the great plus. I've been writing Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman
for 20-something years.
Well, yeah, I actually go back to Super Friends.
Oh, okay.
The last 2 years of Super Friends. So that's 84, 85. So these were completely different characters. They may have the same names, and so that was the big liberation for me.
Was there a specific element going forward that you were looking to try and incorporate, or if it does well?
Well, I was interested in exploring the idea that you have heroes who are capable of killing in a life and death situation, and I've been working with that. I've been working with Superman and Batman, and we all know they have codes, and these characters are sort of codeless. So that's what I was interested in exploring.
I mean, I'd much rather see stuff like this than readapting comics that are already good comics. Like, this is cool because it's a brave new world, new direction, new things. Can you talk about some of the ideas that you guys talked about that maybe didn't make it in?
By the time that I was asked on it, I think a lot of that had been hammered out. I mean, this is a Bruce Timm project. He did the designs for it. He came up with the idea and the stories, and so by the time that I came on to it, I think him and Alan had already done a lot of hammering out. If you ask, I'm sure they would give you a more thorough story about, but the Wonder Woman character in particular was somebody that they weren't sure how they're gonna, what type of origin they were gonna fit in until almost late into the game.
Were there specific lessons other than obviously the success of the Flash and Green Lantern that you took?
I could only hope to have the kind of success that Julie had with the Flash and Green Lantern. I mean, those characters, those are the ones that really resonate with people to this day. When you say Flash or Green Lantern, that's who people think of. I don't expect that it's going to be the same way with this kid. This is more of an interesting tangent. It's not, because that's the thing. When I pitched it as an animated TV series, everybody really liked the idea, but they thought it was too extreme for a mainstream, network TV show. But everybody liked the idea so much they said, well, what if we did it as a DTV? And it made more sense in that platform.
Is there a member of this new trinity that you identify with more than others?
Well, I like them all. And surprisingly, Wonder Woman, who I've always sort of Wonder Woman, I like very much in this. I think her story is the most heartfelt. But Batman and Superman are really interesting, and Batman in particular. In fact, when I heard that we had Michael C. Hall to play the part, I thought that is exactly the voice I was hearing. It was great.
We could get a lawyer, or we can beat the hell out of them.
The thing that's always so striking, especially starting when Batman the Animated TV series started, was the casting of everything was amazing. Mark Hamill is the Joker, which I'm sure you hear all the time.
I can't say it too much. Thank you.
But even even the Question and all the JLU cast is really, really, really great. What's the process like when you guys are kind of going through this again and again and again.
A large group of us involved in the production get together and throw out names. And there's names that come in from DC Comics, from Warner Home Video, from Gary Mariano, from various different people. Bruce Timm, the producer, whoever, the director. And we all just go through them and like, no, that person has turned us down 10 times or whatever. No, he's not quite right for this role. Let's keep him in mind for the next one. This one we've been trying to work with Michael C. Hall for years, as well as Benjamin Bratt, and it just worked out timing-wise. And the perfect roles for them. Michael C. Hall is the perfect Batman for this Batman. Benjamin Bratt is a very, very good Superman. For a Superman that isn't the son of Jor-El, he's a different Superman.
He's the son of Zod, right?
Correct. And he's also raised by Hispanic people once he lands on Earth. So it's great to have a Hispanic actor play that as well. So you always try to find that perfect combination of actor and character. And I'm pretty good at it. But sometimes it's not always perfect.
You're human.
And I have had to replace actors, and that kills me. I don't ever like to replace an actor. So I work very, very hard to make sure, and I don't cast in a vacuum. We're all together making the decision. So we have a list of, say, 5 actors we want, and then the first one turns us down for whatever reason, the second one turns us down, and then we go, okay, we've got this third actor interested, but what's the best Superman to go with that Batman? Because they may all be good actors, but they're not going to sound good together. So it's a puzzle. It is a puzzle.
I'm Dave Baker, and I'm here with
Tamara Taylor.
the new Wonder Woman.
Hells yeah.
When you were approached for this part, what were you hoping that you could bring to the part?
Myself and
Obviously, yeah.
some measure of calm. It was so cool to be called.
Where were you when you found out?
You know what? Where was I? I think I was at work and got this random call and thought, are they joking? No, okay. And once I realized they weren't joking, and before they even finished the sentence, I was like, yes, of course I will.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm here with C. Thomas Howell.
Yes.
Tell us about the part you play in this movie, sir.
I play Will Magnus, who is, you have to understand this is an alternate universe, so the real traditionalists might have a hard time stretching their minds around this, but in our story, Will is just a sort of an old friend of Batman's, and he's part of his origin here. He helps create Batman, sort of, accidentally trying to find a cure for one of his ailments that he's suffering from, a cancer-type blood issue, and gives him something that sort of pushes him over the edge a little bit and turns him into this sort of vampiric kind of superhero. And in our story, the superhero is a little bit darker than normal, a little bit edgier than normal, and the villains are a little bit disguised as maybe a friend here and there, and there's some puzzle pieces that I can't really share right now.
Of course.
But it's we had a lot of latitude because we're in a fresh new world, and there's no expectations and no limitations. So the filmmakers were able to really kind of push everybody into a new place, which I think is a lot of fun.
Let's talk a little bit about Justice League. You play Lois Lane. Was there something specific that you were trying to bring to this part when you initially read it?
Well, I started out by doing a couple of webisodes of Gods and Monsters, which I just realized today was probably an audition. Then they let me do this.
I guess you could do it.
So I guess so. No, which is good. I'm glad. I guess I, passed muster. Is it passing?
Yeah, it's passing muster. Yeah. Could you tell us a little bit about how this version of Wonder Woman may be a little bit different?
Oh, I hope that the world is okay with her, because Becca's very, very different. Darker, edgier, she's got a little sass, a little sex, a little, but interestingly, in flashback, we see that sort of what created her was heartbreak and betrayal, sort of made her this sort of super...
Does it make everybody? I mean, I feel like that made me too.
It's sort of, it is sort of like, it's usually the super villains.
Oh no, what does that say about me?
Yes, exactly.
If this does well and succeeds, would you be open to coming back and doing more stuff, more Lois Lane, maybe other characters?
Oh yeah, I hope to, certainly. Because this is such a strange movie, because it's an alternate reality. I can't wait to see where we go from here, because the stories that I've seen so far are outlandish and exciting and outside of traditional
continuity.
Yeah, so it's exciting that the fans will be surprised at what is going on. It's great. I would like to do more.
Was there specific narrative functionality that you tried to incorporate to be specifically enhance this medium, the DTV?
I mean, obviously, if I'd ended up doing it for TV, it would have been a completely different animal. I obviously wouldn't have been able to go quite as adult in tone with some of the story material. It seemed to lend itself much more to a movie. I mean, the idea, though, since we did have these 3 all-new versions of these characters, we did have to explain who they were, where they came from. So we had 3 origin stories in one movie, plus a villain plot. So that was a little tough. But, hopefully the movie will do well enough that, we'll be able to do hopefully more Justice League Gods and Monsters movies. And we've already got a web series lined up, 10 or 13 more short episodes of, similar to the 3 shorts that have already been on. So there's a lot to explore here.
Are you, if the series does well and continues, are you going to come back to do more?
Oh, I sure hope so. I would in a heartbeat. It was really fun.
Word. Thank you very much for talking with me.
Oh, my pleasure.